Christian, what did you think of the name of this game is two different names. I don't know what to do with it. What did you think of Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation HD Remastered 2?
Thought it was fine. What did you think of the Vita game that's been ported to other places?
Boy, you sure know it was. As soon as you fire up that game and it says, this is an HD, and then you look at anything and it's like, no, it's not. This is an HD as I understand it.
Yeah, they made the character model look okay and then just called the rest good.
They made Rihanna look pretty good, and then, like, New Orleans is just like a series of blocky pixels that kind of shift into view. And it's also the size of a city block.
Or you go to Chichen Itza, and that's the size of, like, the Harry Potter Forbidden Forest.
Yep. There's lava flumes and such. Christian, where are you at with Assassin's Creed? You've played all of them 3 times?
I played a decent amount of them.
Okay.
Not this one, though.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed 3 was a big one for me.
Yes.
That was a big one. That was the first one I ever pre-ordered, and I wasn't 17 yet, so I couldn't get it myself because it was rated M for mature.
That's very silly.
So I was 16, so what I had to do was on midnight launch day, drive over to a friend's house who was 17, and then drive him over to GameStop, and then he picked up the game for me and then gave it to me in the parking lot. But I was living the dream, and leading up to that point, we were in the Revolutionary War unit of American history, and we were filming a little video for school where we were all running around with fake muskets and revolutionary garb.
Did you ever stop your teacher and like, actually, the Templars caused that to happen?
Oh, no.
It was a piece of Adam.
Right.
Very good, Christian, yes.
But Liberation is like a watered down Assassin's Creed, which is already like a watered down Kool-Aid. Because it's like Assassin's Creed is you just like tripping through history.
Yep.
And then like you run around these environments, which were pretty technically impressive for the time.
The time being the 1700s, yes. Okay.
Yeah. And you kill people. See, you're doing pretty boring stuff. You're just running around these cities over and over again and climbing up the same buildings over and over again. But there's like a spectacle to it, and there's like the history surrounding it. Mm-hmm. And Liberation barely has any of that.
Okay.
There's like barely any spectacle.
No.
You're running around New Orleans, which
is a poop city, basically. Yeah.
And a bunch of buildings smushed together. And then you go to the bayou, which is like even worse.
Yeah.
It is not fun to traverse the bayou.
No.
At all. And then you go to Chichen Itza.
Which was all right.
Yeah. And then you realize, I was like, whoa, this is a whole new area. And then you realize it's just like 10 square feet.
I never played 3, which I was a little worried about going in because I'm like, this is obviously a spin-off of 3, so am I going to be lost? Yes, but not because of that. And I don't really truck with the modern Assassin's Creed, which are like Diablo, but you're a Viking or something. Yep. So I was coming off of 2, which I like a lot for a lot of the reasons you said, which is kind of this history tourism and also this spectacle. You're like jumping around cathedrals and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, flying Leonardo da Vinci's contraptions.
Yes. Shooting people with guns and stuff.
Yeah.
And also, my favorite thing about 2, well, I really love the atmosphere of 2 with like the soundtrack, and it's very like austere in a way, and it's like birds flying through the air and stuff. And there's like this, I really like what they do with like the Animus, where it's like, there's like these hidden codes and stuff, and like, it's glitching around you as you play through this weird, and like in like Brotherhood, I feel like it got even weirder where they start going down the rabbit hole with a lot of that stuff, and I was really into that. And then this game really,
they dropped the ball.
They completely dropped the ball. I think their heart was in the right place with it.
Yeah.
They had to take basically this like tentpole franchise from these big consoles, which is all about being expansive and very expensive looking and smushing it onto a handheld. But I don't think you can do that because then you're left with trail this guy through the same city block over and over for a game. And they, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's budgetary or like the hardware, or if they just didn't trust this offshoot to incorporate like main stuff in it. Like they
Yeah.
The use of the Animus stuff is really disappointing.
Mhm.
It's basically just you are playing a video game,
Yeah.
which is kind of fun. I don't know. Isn't that kind of what 4 is? I never played 4.
Yeah, that's what 4 is. And then they do the same thing with Unity after.
Okay.
So I think this is the first time they did it, but it's definitely not the only time they've done it.
Okay. It's a fun idea.
Yeah.
But again, the only thing they do with it interesting, like it has no bearing on anything really that you're playing a video game. There's no outside the video game. You're just playing a video game. The only impact it has is that one, the story makes absolutely no sense because it's this series of disjointed scenes, basically.
Yeah. The opening's amazing.
Unlike other games, like it exists on its own plane where it truly feels like you're missing half the game. Like it just jumps from plot point to plot point and character to character and through time. I feel like 30 years pass in this game, but nothing changes. And it's just like you're just talking to these people and you have no idea what's going on.
Yeah. The opening's amazing because you're like a little girl for like 2 minutes and then you're following a chicken and then a dude just kicks the chicken.
Yeah, it's Fable. They're like, this is a Fable game for a little tiny bit. Chicken chaser.
Yeah. And then she wakes up and boom, it's 20 years later.
She's Rihanna and she's an assassin and she doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah. And you're right that there's time skips all the time because I think like they take the Assassin's Creed structure and just like force it into this where you've got every chapter has to end with a big assassination, regardless of whether or not they were able to build it up over the course of the other missions or not.
Which sometimes they do, sort of.
Yeah.
Sometimes
for
they
a
don't.
couple of them they do. But other times you'll just kill a guy and then it'll go into slow-mo and then it'll be like, oh, I guess this was an important one.
Yep. He was all glowy and then you kill him and it's like, Requiescat in pace.
Yes.
Dead.
And then after the chapter's done, it goes to a loading screen and then the loading screen will have like a little blurb of text information.
Yep.
That would normally be like a actual character moment or something interesting that they could have actually put into the story. But instead it's just like this text that you read because they got to get on with making the video game.
Right. So you have this story that is given to you in dollops, makes no sense. But then every so often, Hacker Man comes to you and he says, hey,
kill an NPC and I'll reveal the truth to you.
Which is not fun in itself because you just have to like put in glowy vision and then go find an NPC and stab him. But then it like shows you a cutscene you've already seen. I can't tell the difference, Christian. It seemed like the exact same thing. Like I didn't come away from it with like some greater knowledge of what was happening. I think what it's trying to do is explain that the game you're playing is biased because it's put out by the evil Templar company.
Right.
But actually her story is one of like assassins being successful and like blah, 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 doing good things.
Right.
Complete failure on the part of the storytelling to get that across. I absorbed that through, the internet. I didn't get any of that from the game. Crazy.
Yeah. That hacking stuff is one of the only things I think in this video game is conceptually interesting.
Yeah.
Because like you said, it's a cool idea. The fact that you're playing a video game where a lot of this stuff is supposedly scrubbed away because they want to hide things. And then you can see what it was that was scrubbed away. But it's just a replaying of a cutscene where some of the lines are a little bit different. Yeah.
I mean, the end is completely different. And it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But that just feels cheap then because it's like, why were all these other ones the same? And then this one is just like completely different. Should have been like that the whole time.
They could have taken that so much further.
Yeah.
In a way that would have been more interesting. Because the big double cross is that your stepmom's a Templar and she backstabs you.
Which is so obvious.
Yeah.
There's not that many characters in this game. So it's like,
no.
And you hate most of them. Like your assassin boss guy, your mentor, just seems like a jerk the whole time.
Yeah.
And I guess that's like the Templar influence, like the bias, like, which leads into, and I've been curious about your thoughts on this the whole time I was playing it, but one of the main gameplay systems in this game is you have 3 personas you can switch between. The lady, the assassin, and the slave. Upgrade your slave persona. Get new slave clothes, Christian. Any of that do anything for you, Christian?
No, it's frustrating because like the assassin persona is the only one that can do everything. Yeah. Like you're getting weapons and gadgets and stuff, and the assassin persona is the only one that can use all of them.
Right. I was like, why am I a lady? I want to be an assassin.
Yeah.
And then I would
the
just,
lady can't even climb on things.
no.
So the lady's basically useless.
You can charm men.
You can, which
and they
is
like follow you around.
never
like,
useful.
ooh.
They make you do it in like 2 missions just so that you can be away from other people when you kill someone. That's it.
Right.
Real
and you can
innovative.
shoot out of your umbrella, which is fun, I guess.
Yeah. That is neat. But
That's
it takes forever to reload, so
It's funny though. It's like, of course it
is.
takes that long to reload an umbrella. So
yeah,
that was fun.
yeah. But like, there's like no benefit to being the lady.
No.
You can charm people, but that's never useful outside of the missions where they make you be the lady anyway, and you can't do anything else about it.
Right.
And there's like one set of collectibles that's unique to the lady, but they're not fun. And all you get for getting all of them is a new outfit for the lady. So it's
Woo!
just a self-fulfilling prophecy. What's the point?
Right.
So what's the point of being the lady? Because it sucks.
Well, it's so non-standard because I feel like in other Ubisoft games it would be like, here's your 3 talent trees and here's the lady talent tree. And
Ooh,
now I
right.
can climb. Now I can charm women.
Yes. Ooh.
But that's not it. It's just like an outfit you put on and then
Yeah.
you're handicapped.
Yep. Not great.
But-
At least the slave can climb.
Here's where I ended up on this.
Yeah.
It is not bad that video game developers are looking at a certain time period and trying to tell a story in that time period. The way they do it here is very strange, but
That's pretty charitable.
I think there's plenty of other media. I think there's books and movies that handle this topic, which I will repeat is slavery, in just as clumsy a fashion. But I think books and movies have earned, or not earned, but they receive a level of respect where people are willing to look past them because those mediums are art.
Right.
Video games are not. I'm not defending the way this game handles this stuff. I just think it sticks out here in a way maybe it wouldn't in other places. And also because you are playing as someone who can just don a slave persona in order to like get collectibles or, carry a box so that the guards don't kill you. None of it is good. But
Right.
I'm not angry that they like tried to like look at this time period and tell a story. And you're not playing as like a white dude who's freeing slaves, at least, right?
Yeah. That's true.
Okay. I don't
Could
know.
have been worse, is what you're saying, huh?
Well, no, I don't know. It's pretty bad. But maybe if we kind of bury this game for it, there's a lot of other stuff maybe we should be burying. But it has so little to do with the game itself. It wasn't like it ruined
Right.
the game for me. It's just like every time it came up, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
did people look at this before they put it out? I don't know.
Yeah. It's weird because I can just picture at the time like promotional material. I haven't seen any of it,
Oh,
but I
God,
can
no.
imagine like the
Oh, my God,
promotional
no.
material would have been like, we finally get to tackle this setting. It's so serious. Slavery was obviously a problem that a lot of people dealt with at the time,
Yeah.
but it's not really grappled with in the story very much. They poke at it
Yeah.
a little bit. So apparently her mom was a slave, and that makes her sympathetic to slaves, but not so much that she would really stick her neck out for them,
Mhm.
which is really weird.
Yeah.
And like you start running a trading empire or something, and she makes
Yeah.
like an offhanded comment of, "Oh, great! I can finally give slaves a legal form to get their freedom."
Yes.
And that's really uncomfortable.
Well, they do tackle some kind of interesting stuff where it's like there are these basically in the time kind of legal routes to
Yeah.
essentially hire people, but it's not that far removed from slavery, and
Totally.
there's kind of some grappling with that, and that's interesting.
Yeah.
It just feels very odd in this game where it doesn't make any sense and you just go around killing people or chasing chickens, and it's just like the cognitive dissonance is a little hard to swallow sometimes, but
Yeah. I don't know if I wouldn't call the main character a good person.
No, she just kills everybody, and then
Yeah,
she's like,
she does.
she's angry at everyone, and at the
It's
end of the
amazing.
game, I don't know where she's at. Like, she's
I love there's side missions where there's people tripping out on mushrooms, so you just beat the
Yes.
crap out of them and then shove antidote down their throat.
and then they do like happy moans on the ground. They're like, oh, and then they're good, and then you walk away.
Amazing.
It's a little skull on the map.
Yeah.
I was like, ugh, ugh.
Yeah. And there's
Crazy.
another set of side missions where you just murder your business
Yeah,
competitors. Amazing. Just brutally take them out of the equation.
But it's all arcadey. It's like, do it in 3 minutes and don't.
Yeah.
The floor is lava, and it's like, okay, this is really weird. And then that doesn't lead anywhere. Like, one of the things I loved about 2 was kind of you build your empire
Yes.
and you buy
Totally.
shops and the money comes in. This is just like you can buy shops and that's it.
Yeah, they don't really do anything. It just lets you buy stuff from the shops after you've bought the shop. Is my understanding.
But I never bought anything
Yep.
really.
There's no reason to.
Yeah.
They've got like a ship system, which is their like
Oh, that's so crazy.
Facebook game thing, and
Yeah.
the UI is awful. It's
Mhm.
confusing after they explain it to you,
Yes.
partly because the UI is absolutely terrible, and it doesn't have a good ramp to it even.
No.
Like, you can, after spending like an hour on it, you're just farming money and that's it. Cool. I've got trade boats giving me money. Cool.
Money for what? Nobody knows. Just money to have, I guess.
Right. Yeah, that's another thing about this is that the shops have a bunch of weapons.
Right.
I don't know why you would want to use different weapons.
Because, well, I got to a point halfway through the game where guy comes at you. He's got a
Yep.
little caution sign above him.
Yep.
You counter, and then you hit the rope button.
There you
'Cause
go.
you have like
Insta win.
a whip. Yep. And you just kill him. And then, like, if somebody interrupts you, you just do it to them. The other guy's already dead, even though there's no kill animation because you got interrupted. And you can just take out like 10 guys in about a minute.
Yep.
One at a time.
Yep.
Craziness. It's not a game at a certain point. You're just like,
right.
you're just pressing the B button until the next cutscene happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Bizarre. So I don't understand why they filled this shop with all kinds of very expensive items and weapons when there's no incentive to use any of it.
Is there a trophy for getting all of the...
Nope.
Okay. I got nothing then. I don't know. It's like a little brother trying to be like the big brother, like, I can do it too. I got a shop and I got a gun.
Yeah, exactly. That's what a
no.
lot of this video game felt like. Was I can
Yeah.
do it too. Like the big thing for Assassin's Creed 3 at the time was that there was a wilderness.
Right,
And that
right,
they
right,
added
Tree traversal.
right.
So if I would have played this on like a handheld on a Vita at the time, I probably would have been pretty impressed by the fact that they fit tree climbing onto this thing when Assassin's Creed 3 was making it seem like it was this big technical showpiece that they couldn't have accomplished under any other circumstances.
Sure. Okay.
Or like just like the combat in general, just like full of flashy animations that are completely excessive, and it's basically all the combat is. It's just flashy animations. So
Yeah.
it's kind of cool that they were able to pull that off given the diminutive hardware for the time. But at the same time, like there's like cracks that would happen to me all the time, little cracks in the seams where
Mhm,
I'd like jump for a ledge and just wouldn't grab it.
mhm,
Or I would try and climb a tree and they just jump off it.
mhm. Or you like run and then you put your hands up on nothing. Like there's a
Yeah.
wall there. And it's like, I
Yeah.
hate that feeling. Ugh.
Yeah.
Not good. But that was in the old ones too. I don't know. That
Sure.
the trigger to run thing
Yep.
showing its age here. I
It
feel like.
is.
Yeah. It's just
Finger
not
hurts.
the areas you traverse are just not fun to like the bayou is so annoying to get around. Like you can use a boat.
Yeah.
Why?
But then you have to get off the boat in like 2 minutes when you hit some land
and find a boat.
and then find another boat. Yeah.
Yeah. Were you did you squee when what's his face showed up for a little bit?
Oh, Connor from
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed 3, the critically
Yeah.
acclaimed video game.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was pretty over it at that point.
Okay.
It's most of the way through the game.
It is, yeah.
And
Is
they just shove it in there. It's not like
Yeah, I didn't know what was
it's not like they weaved it into the plot or anything, because I think it's like one entire chapter is just that one 10-minute mission.
Yeah.
And it's just like you're like Aveline, I think is the main character's name. She finds, or she killed someone who gave her like a hint or a breadcrumb that the person who's behind all of this or whatever is someone who she knows.
Mm-hmm.
And then smash cut to her going to New York in the snow for some reason, and she's looking for some Templar guy, deserter, who's a slave who went with the Templars to get his freedom, which is thematically interesting, but it ends with him being murdered in an explosion on a carriage in a very cool fashion.
The way that guy's animated looks like Source Filmmaker broke or something. Like his mouth is all crazy in those cutscenes. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Is he from 3? I mean, that's pulling back.
I have no idea.
Yeah,
I couldn't tell you. I don't know either. So yeah, that mission didn't really tickle my fancy all that much.
The change of scenery was nice.
Yeah.
Some
nice. Snow.
Yeah.
Some snow in the woods.
Boy, I don't know. And there's like there's no multiplayer or anything, obviously, but it's just like, here's your campaign that just kind of ends abruptly, and then there's no reason to keep playing, and it's like,
yeah.
So why have they announced why they're pulling this from being available?
I think they're just doing it with all of them.
Oh, really?
So yeah, okay. All of this stuff. I think Assassin's Creed 3 and prior are just kind of getting swept away.
Why?
I don't think.
Why?
I don't know for sure. There was something about like, I think you're talking about Liberation itself being delisted or something like that.
Yeah.
That might be because of its relationship to 3, and it might have been like a package deal type thing where it was like a DLC to 3 or something like that. You could get the full game by getting 3 or something like that. And they're delisting all the DLC because apparently they don't want to have to deal with that.
That's craziness.
Yeah, so that's really weird.
I had to go to Newegg and buy a code and then put that in my Xbox.
Really?
Because when I went on my Xbox, it was like, yo, you can't buy this game.
That's awesome.
That's weird.
That's awesome.
That's a slippery slope, sir.
That's cool.
The moment I can't buy KO the Kangaroo HD remaster is the day it all goes out the window, sir.
Dude, that's what I had to do with Prey 2006.
You didn't have a 4 CD box set sitting on your shelf?
No, I didn't. Bummer. I missed out on that one. Huh. But yeah, it's weird that we're in this world now where those video games that Ubisoft was just plugging the crap out of as far as connectivity was concerned. Like that's when they had online passes. That's when they had like in-game notifications that you can pre-order in the next Assassin's Creed game or have in-game advertisements for the DLCs that they just released. And now all of it is just
wash your hands.
Yep. Going to be useless.
You're not missing much, I guess, but I wanted to know. I needed to know.
Yeah. I don't know why for sure. But yeah, there's the Assassin's Creed multiplayer for like Brotherhood Revelations. That stuff is getting turned off on September 1st.
No.
2022. So I'm spending some time with Brotherhood and Revelations multiplayer while it's still on.
That's so sweet.
Someone's got to do it.
This is the only of this type of game in the Assassin's Creed lineage, right? Besides those like weird 2D, like side scrolly kind of ones.
What do you mean by that?
I guess in my mind, there were like 4 of these games where it was like an offshoot for like a... There was one... Isn't there one for like the PS3 that's like an offshoot of 4?
Oh, yeah. PS3 and 360 got Rogue. Which is... What was... Oh, Rogue, yeah. Rogue is what the PS3 and 360 got when Unity came out on PS4 and Xbox One. So that was like the bone they threw to the last gen consoles.
Here's a better bone than what we're throwing to the other people.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's fun how that worked out. There was a PSP Assassin's Creed game. That was Bloodlines, I think it was called. And that was kind of like their watered down version of 1 for the PSP.
Yeah. It was like Altair, right?
Yep.
Like, okay.
Yep. Yeah. And a watered down Assassin's Creed 1 is...
Yeah, that's not what you want.
You're watering down water.
You don't want to sit on a bench and listen to a guy talk about like,
no.
I'll be at the market tomorrow.
Right, yeah. The tailing stuff in Liberation was like
Takes you right back.
it does. I was like, oh no.
It wasn't so bad. It was pretty easy. It's just kind
It
of
is,
like
yeah.
walk towards the sky.
Yeah. And then they stop and turn around and look behind them for like a minute, an uninterrupted minute.
Yep.
And there's just like NPCs running all over the place. So it just completely breaks the immersion. It's not like they're actually looking for anything.
If you were ever immersed in this game, God bless you, sir.
Yeah.
Christian, do you have any other thoughts on Assassin's Creed Liberation HD 3?
No, not really. The only cool stuff, like I said, was the hacking stuff.
Mhm.
Someone is trying to help you scrub away the Templar sanitation of the
Yeah.
simulation stuff. It's conceptually interesting. And then there was like one glimmer moment where
Hmm.
there's like a mission where you're in the bayou and you're running
Yeah.
around on trees, and then they're like desecrating, I don't know, they're like ripping stakes out of the ground or whatever, the voodoo
Yeah.
statues. And then you get to like kill them one by one so that they
Yeah.
think there's a curse happening. That was cute. That
That was
was a
alright.
cute way to use that setting, and it just railroads you along the trees so that
Yeah.
you don't have to actually go through any of the water in the bayou, and you're not slowed down all the time. So
That was all right.
it was all right. Yeah. That was about it, though.
Where would you like to put this game, Christian?
I don't know.
Our first Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah, we did it.
Yeah. Another.
Dude, what
Franchise
an
is falling.
Assassin's Creed to start on.
I've played other ones, I swear. There are some good ones.
Good. Nothing can take that away from you, Tucker. Not
This-
even a subpar Vita game.
There are a lot of subpar Vita games. I think this holds up as a game. I think it clears that hurdle. I think you can sit down and play this game and it's like, oh, this is reminiscent of a quality experience in some ways.
Yeah, I would agree.
So it's not like bottom of the barrel Sonic Rock Block to me.
I agree.
That doesn't mean much though, I guess. on this
Sure.
list.
Yeah. Because it's the Sonic Rock Block is starting to swallow the whole bottom half of the list.
I think Resident Evil 0 is better than this.
Ooh, I think I would agree with that. Yeah. Sonic Adventure 2, though, I would put this above Sonic Adventure 2.
Okay, that sounds like we got a lock then.
Yeah, that's where it goes.
Sure, that works for me.